Hi everybody, it's Jennifer. This week I want to talk to you about working in layers. So the first assignment, what we looked at was using the removal method to create the painting. So now what I want to do is I want to talk about using multiple layers to create a painting. So in this case we're going to use one of the pieces that you did for that first set of assignment, the removal or subtractive method, and we are going to use it as an underpainting and we're going to paint on top of it. So some of the colors I pulled out on the palette are the titanium white, Hansa yellow, Naples yellow, cad orange, and quinacridone rose. I do have yellow ochre, but I probably won't use it for this piece. I just had it on my palette from the last piece, so I transferred it over. I have a little bit of olive green. I have cobalt blue on my palette this time instead of a darker blue. And then I have a little bit of Van Dyke brown. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with adding a little bit of dark. With oil painting, we want to go dark to light if possible. That's the rules, and we can break it, but we're going to try to start with that. I'm going to pick up a little bit of blue. I'm going to come into the sky and start trying to form out some clouds, maybe where I'd like some clouds to be. And I'm going to go fairly thin on this since I already have another layer. I don't have to cover everything. That's always nice. I'm going to use a circular motion here and try to kind of find some clouds that I might want to keep. Clouds on the horizon. And pick up a slightly lighter color on this side. Same thing. Starting in the corner, coming down. Again, I don't have to cover everything. Up a little bit more blue. And I'm really just scumbling on the paint. And scumbling is a term that we use that literally just means forcing the paint in. Okay, and I'll streak this across so it looks kind of even. Now, I know there's going to be a little bit of dark in the clouds in the base, so I'll take a little bit of this purple. It's like a gray purple. I'm going to put it down here on the horizon. I think I'm going to go a little darker. And I'm going to edge these trees with it. And you can see I'm not really precise. I'm just trying to get some paint on here. And then I'll go back and soften my edges. Pick up a little bit more paint. And you can see it looks dark on the palette, but because there's already dark value on this canvas, it looks light on the canvas. A little bit more of the purple. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting the darks in the clouds before I put the light in the clouds. And with clouds, you want to have soft edges and hard edges. Okay, so I'm going to wipe this brush off. I'm going to pick up a lighter value. This is titanium white, and it has a little bit of cad orange in it. Just try to put a little bit of that in. It's a little bit of a warmer color. And see if I can pick up a little bit of the pink. Get a little bit of the pink in there. You don't want your clouds to be just white. You want to try to sneak in as much color as you can. Alright, now I'm going to pick up a little bit of the white on its own. So I'm going to wipe this brush off. Pick up a little bit of titanium white on the same brush. I'm going to come in here and put a little bit of the brighter white. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a clean brush and I'm just going to soften all these edges. Just going in a circular motion in some places. Rolling the brush. I'm going to wipe the brush off and I'm going to soften the edge where it meets the land down here because we want that to be fairly soft. Come right over top of this and scumble that white in there. Okay, so now I want to come down here and work in the bottom section, which is the land section. I'm going to put a little purple in the back tree line. Hold on. Okay, so now I'm going to come forward and try to work into the marsh here, and then I also have the water. So same thing kind of down here. I want to think about working dark to light, where my darks are going to be first. So in this marsh area, I am going to have a little bit of a brighter green, and let's mix that in. And so for my dark in the marsh, I'm going to have something that looks like this running through here. Again, I'm going to try to work from dark to light. Pick up a little bit more of that color, come down this way. Again, I'm just scumbling over the color that's already there. A little bit more. Put a little bit more yellow in there because it's coming toward the front. Okay, so I'm also going to add a little orange in the marsh. There's usually a warm value somewhere in the marsh. Sometimes it's orange, sometimes it's red. On this one, I'm going to probably actually put a little pink in there too. a little bit more of that dark right back in here. I lost some of that. Okay. Same thing, I'm going to put the orange right in the marsh. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit of this yellowy green for the bright part of the marsh. And it is just the azo yellow, a little bit of the blue, and the color that was already on my brush. Come down this way with the same color. I'm going to make a little bit of a brighter green. It's okay if you go over your marsh, you're going to put it back in. Same thing right over here. Brighter marsh color right back on top. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and put the water in and put more definition in the marsh grass. So now I want to think about the fact that usually the water reflects the sky. So I'll probably have a lot of cloud reflection through here. So I'll probably put a lot of white, and then probably somewhere around here it switches to the blue. So I'll pick up the blue first. And I'll try to come in here with some of that blue, reflecting in the water. A little bit of that brighter blue up here too, so it'll match. Okay, and then I'm going to work this blue into this area. And again, I'm starting with the blue down here because it's darker than the white. Now I'm going to pick up a cleaner brush and put a little bit of that light color on it that we were using for the clouds earlier. Pick up some of that purple too. Alright, and then I'm going to come back here and streak some of that purple color for the water. I'm going to clean my brush off because I probably picked up some of the other colors. And then I'm going to come through here and start working this in. I'm working the edges together. bit more white, just a few places. Okay, so really what I want to do now is get that marsh grass back in there. So I'm going to take a rough bristled brush with a little bit of a darker value to start. And I'm going to flick some of this up into the piece. Now I'm also going to do the same thing, but in the reflection in the water. I'm going to pull that down into that marsh that I just made. So now what I want to do is I want to clean up this edge so that you can see the difference where one starts and one stops. So I'll take a little bit of my dark. I'll try to come in here and just define this a little better. And then I'll put a few more blades of grass. And I will also go back and soften this because this will be pretty dark. Now I'm going to add the marsh grass back on top. And then right out here on the end, I might try to put a few little pieces of marsh grass right out here. And I'm going to take my dark and try to add a few more blades right in this area. All right, now the same down here in just a few places. I want to add just a few little pieces of marsh, not too much. Now I'm going to soften this edge right here. Okay, so this is an example of using an underpainting in oil. So we took our removal method piece and we painted on top of it, used it as an underpainting, and added a second layer. So this week what I want you to do is I want you to take one of the pieces that you used for that first assignment, and I want you to do what I just did in this video. I want you to paint on top of it and turn it into something different.